Hey guys, if this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. My name is Emily and today I have a very special mad science makeup for you. Let's go ahead and get right on into that. Now, I am very upset right now because I filmed this entire video, made my little pan of highlighter, and then found out that my camera was not recording even though it was still on. It just decided to shut off recording in the middle of my process. So I'm going to go ahead and redo this, but I had to pull in some different shades of eyeshadow that I'm going to be using for this highlight. So just bear with me for a moment here. Today I'm going to be making Becca's Lilac Geode. This was a limited edition shade that I believe came out in either late 2016 or early 2017. It's an absolutely beautiful purpley, peachy, pinky gold highlight. I know that's a lot of shades, but to me it has all of those reflex in it. And I really wanted to try and capture that today because I would die for this highlight. I want it so bad, but I don't want to pay the extra price tag of looking for it or looking for it used or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to make it today. So let's go ahead and get started into the mad science here. I have a depotting spatula. I will go ahead and link one down below where you can pick one up. They're usually like $10 or so. You can always use a butter knife or something that will just mix the product together, but these depotting spatulas are really nice because they are very precise. Next, I have this creepy looking syringe here, which is from my work. It is not pokey. It is completely blunt there, and it's just going to allow me to help to control how much rubbing alcohol I am putting into my little mixture here. I actually got this idea from a subscriber. She suggested using like a dropper or some sort, and I have one that I am going to be using soon. I have something from The Ordinary that I'm finishing up, and they have the little dropper bottles, so I am going to be finishing that baby up, and then I will be using it for rubbing alcohol. This will help me to really be able to contain myself when it comes to putting in rubbing alcohol because I always just dump it right into my pan and that can cause a lot of problems. Over here in this little corner, I have some eyeshadows that I'm going to be taking from today. The first one I have is Makeup Geek's Shimma. This one is like a pinky champagne toned highlighter shade. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch it out. I have some swatches from my video before still kind of left over here, so I apologize, but that is the shade Shimma. Next up, I have the shade Sin by Urban Decay. This one is also a champagne highlighter. And I will go ahead and swatch it. This one's a little bit more goldy, and Shimma is a little bit more pinky, so I figured I would just mix the two. And I thought that would give the nice kind of pinky sheen to the highlight that we need. The next one that I have is just the standard gold eyeshadow from the Morphe 3502 palette. I never used this palette, so I really wanted to put this guy to use, but I will go ahead and link somewhere on the screen just some dupes for this because you don't have to go out and buy the whole Morphe 3502 palette just for a couple shades. I bought that palette and I majorly regretted it because I don't freaking use that palette. So I wanted to get some use out of it, so I just depotted this baby, and he is going to be a part of our science experiment today. And last but certainly not least, we have Anastasia Beverly Hills Macaroon. This is like a warm-toned lilac shade that I thought would be absolutely perfect for this highlight. This is the shade that actually inspired me to do this video because I saw it. I thought, damn, that would be nice if you mix that with a nice gold highlighter shade to make a purpley golden highlight. And then I remembered Becca's highlighter in Lilac Geode, and that got me putting this together and making my own. So we are going to go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and take Makeup Geek's Shimma, and this is going to be our base shade. So I am going to dig out a decent amount. I'm going to take just a touch of Urban Decay's Sin. I can add this later on if I need to lighten anything up because it's a light kind of goldy champagne color. And we might need to lighten up the highlight just a touch because I am going to be taking this golden shade by Morphe from the 3502 palette. And this one's pretty dark, but we do need that golden shade in the undertone of the highlight because that's what Becca's highlight has. It's got a really nice goldeny peachy undertone along with the purple shade. And then we are going to be taking Anastasia Beverly Hills Macaroon. And I'm just going to take just a little bit, and I'm going to be just scooping out just a little bit of the purpley tone because I don't want a bright purple stripe on my cheek. I want this to just be like a little tint of purple and mostly have the pinky and the golden base. So with this little syringe here that I got from my work, this really allows me to just kind of drop in as much alcohol as I need and not overdo it. So I am very, very happy that I have found that, and I'm very thankful for the subscriber who suggested it to me because it's a freaking genius idea. Because before I was just freeballing it, you know, throwing my rubbing alcohol straight from the container and dumping it right onto the plate. So mistakes could have been made. Very, very bad mistakes could have been made. And like I've said a couple times, you really want to make sure that you put in less rubbing alcohol versus putting in too much, because you can always add more. And if you put in too much rubbing alcohol, your product at the end is not going to come together correctly. It's going to be too watery and it will thin out and it just doesn't come back to life the same way. I don't know why it does that, but I don't know. So I just mixed in a little bit more of Makeup Geek's Shimma, just to give it a little bit more of a pinky tone. And then last but certainly not least here, I'm going to just put in a touch more of Urban Decay's Sin just to lighten it, because this is a little bit lighter than everything else that's already in our little concoction here. And that seems to be coming together pretty dang well. So this is what we have so far, and it seems to be coming together very nicely, and I definitely see the pinky, kind of peachy purpley tone in the product itself right now, but it's always going to be a little bit darker when it's wet for obvious reasons. It's a powder product, and you put water onto it, of course it's going to get darker. So this will lighten up once I actually get it into a pan. So I actually have this pan right here. It has a little bit of product still left in it. It is White Silver by Coastal Scent. I think this would be perfect to lighten up the mixture here because I think that it needs a little bit of a silvery tone to make sure that when I get it onto the cheekbones that it's actually a highlight and not just like a light lilac-y eyeshadow. It still needs to have the shine of an actual highlight. So I think that mixing that guy in actually did us well. So I'm going to go ahead and start filling the pan here. Typically I would use a brand new pan, but I have this one just sitting right next to me. And you can buy brand new pans on Amazon for a whole whopping $1. I got 12 of them on Amazon for $1. Pretty good deal if you ask me, because before that with Mad Science Makeup I was just emptying out eyeshadows that I didn't want and wasting product that I could have been using for this series. So I'm happy that I made that purchase. It was definitely worth my $1. Now I'm just smoothing everything out in the pan. So that's good for me. I could go a little bit more and get those lines out of there, but meh. I'm okay with this. I'm going to be swatching it later and, you know, the nice surface is going to go away anyway. So this is what we are working with here. It looks like a nice kind of pinky, lilac-y, peachy gold shade, which is what I'm going for. So I'm going to let this baby set up. Typically I let it set up and I kind of test it by putting my finger into it. If it still feels a little bit tacky, I just leave it alone. Typically I notice that these guys set up in about 2 hours or so. So I'm going to go ahead and test it out. So I will go ahead and let you guys know how this looks, and I will meet you back here in just a moment. So as you can see, I do not have my highlighter on already. My face is completely matte. I have a little bit of Colourpop's Flexitarian on the inner corner because I always do that no matter what inner corner highlight I am working with. I like to have kind of a sticky base for the eyeshadow or pigment or whatever I'm using in the inner corner to stick to, because I have noticed that that place on my face fades all the freaking time. Same with my cheeks. I am actually going to be applying a little bit of this e.l.f. Dewy highlighter. It's the Morning Fresh Dew Stick Highlighter, and it's literally just a clear highlighter. Like, there's no pigment to this. It's just a clear base for my highlight to stick to because I do not wear foundation, and because I don't wear foundation, when I put highlighter on my bare cheek, it doesn't really show up. So I always go in with a base. I always use something like this, or I use the e.l.f. Dewy Stick in the clear formula. This is an exact dupe, and this is $3, and that one is like $28 or something. So this one is awesome. I suggest getting this if you are a non-foundation wearer yourself. and you find that your highlight fades or doesn't really stick to your face. This will be a lifesaver, I promise. I'm going to be doing a demo of my highlight that I created. Here it is in all its glory. I have it swatched out on my arm right here, and I'll do some swatch close-ups in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just pop this on my inner corners, my brow bone, and my cheeks. This is going to be a quick video because I have to leave for work in 15 minutes or so. Girl, I'm cutting it close, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take some of the e.l.f. Dewy Stick here. I literally take my fingers and just pop it onto my cheekbone. I don't really know if that's going to show up on camera or not, but I don't know. I think that it really helps to make my highlighter stick to my face because I really had issues with that for a very long time, and I didn't understand how everyone was getting these pop-in highlights with just like one swipe application, but then I remembered I don't wear foundation. There's nothing underneath the highlighter to stick to. It's literally just bare skin. I don't put primer on all of my face. I only put it on my nose. So that would explain why nothing was freaking sticking to my face. So I'm going to be using this BH Cosmetics brush. I actually got this brush in a set. It's from the Smoky Eyes set. My cheeks are really weird, and I've used some of the highlighter brushes that people have suggested, and I just don't think that they fit my face very well. They're too big. I get highlight all over my cheek, and I just want it in like a targeted area. I really just like it right on the high points of the cheek. So I am blending this out, and as you can see, we have a purpley pinky highlight. I am so happy. Let's go ahead and do it on the other cheekbone. Do you guys have any really good highlighter brushes that are smaller, more for precision highlighting? Please let me know, because this one works and I like it, but it's an eyeshadow brush and it doesn't necessarily blend out the product the best. It applies it well, but then when I actually go to blend, it's kind of hard to blend the actual products. I usually end up blending out the highlight with my fingers in the end. I'll kind of place it with this highlighter brush, and then I take my fingers and just kind of tap over just the edges and kind of smooth it, just so that it looks like it's actually a part of my cheekbone and not just a stripe. And then I kind of go back and blend everything over. I really wish that I did have a brush that I loved, because I don't want to have to keep going over the highlight with the brush and with my fingers. That's unhygienic. Some people really dislike, you know, using fingers on the face and putting product on with their fingers. I don't really care so much, but I know that it's not necessarily the best for your skin. And as I've mentioned in a recent video, I've been having some skin issues, so anything that can help me to better my skin, I will do. And I'm going right underneath the brow bone. So pretty. I'm honestly shocked right now. I was expecting to get it similar to the Becca highlight, but I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I actually do. So here is the highlighter on my cheeks, on my inner corner, and on my brow bone. I am very pleased with this. Wow, I'm actually surprised that I like this as much as I do. I'm not really one to go for purpley toned highlights, but this is just perfect for me because it has that little bit of peachiness and it has that little bit of pinkiness and a nice normal neutral base to kind of tone down the warm tone purple, and that's really what the Becca highlight looked like it had, and I feel like I got pretty gosh dang close. I'm gonna go ahead and get into some swatches, and we'll go ahead and meet back here and compare how my highlight looks to the Becca highlight. So as you can see, the Becca highlight and my highlight are pretty freaking close. I am so honestly happy with this. I think this turned out awesome, and I'm stoked because now I don't have to go out and purchase the Becca Lilac Geode highlight, and that one was probably going to be impossible to purchase because that one is limited edition and it's been gone for a while. If you have any suggestions for anything you would like to see me do, any more Becca highlights, any blushes, eyeshadows, whatever you have it, go ahead and leave it in the comments below and I will absolutely get back to you. I would love to try out some of your suggestions and hopefully help you with something that you want to try making at home. Let me know. But with that being said, that is going to be wrapping up this video. I need to go throw my scrubs on and get the heck out the door because I have to go to work. and do root canals for the rest of the day. I do hope that you consider subscribing. I have all sorts of makeup goodness happening here right on this channel, and I'm doing mad science makeup every single week. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day wherever you are, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye!